What is up, guys? EJ here, aka Puckbond007, and welcome to the Movie Reviewers 100, this great collaboration channel here on YouTube that I'm proud to be a part of. So this week it's Stanley Kubrick week, very cool week. Stanley Kubrick for a long time was my all-time favorite director. But since his passing back in 1999, a lot of years have gone on since then, obviously, and he's now become number two because obviously he hasn't made any new films since then. But he's still one of my favorite directors, and I love pretty much all of his movies. But for this video, I didn't want to do a review of one of his most noted films like The Shining or Full Metal Jacket, or even Doctor Strangelove, which is my favorite Kubrick film. Also 2001 is my all-time favorite science fiction film, and Big Al 1982 did a great video on 2001 yesterday. So the film I actually chose is one I hadn't seen yet. I've had it in my collection for a while, and it's one of Kubrick's early films. It's actually his second feature film, and that is Killer's Kiss from 1955. Sort of a very quick and interesting film noir that Kubrick made in his early days. His early days featured films almost every year. I mean, he had this, and then The Killing in 1956. Paths of Glory, 1957, one of my all-time favorite war movies. I could have done that one as well. Then of course he went on to do Spartacus in 1960, Lolita in 62, Doctor Strangelove in 64, and then we have the big gaps between movies. Obviously 2001 in 68, and The Clockwork Orange in 71, and so on and so forth. But Killer's Kiss is an interesting little film noir. It's only an hour and 7 minutes long, which is kind of interesting compared to the length of most of Kubrick's movies. It stars Jamie Smith as Davy Gordon, a sort of small-time prize fighter, a boxer in New York. He has a big fight coming up with a young undefeated contender named Rodriguez, and he basically falls in love with a nightclub dancer over a couple of days called Gloria Price, played by Irene Kane, and but she is controlled by her boss, a gangster played by Frank Silvera. His name is Vincent Rapallo. So he's sort of a guy who gets mixed up with the wrong kind of people. A very similar theme, prevalent theme in most film noirs of the 40s and 50s. Yeah, he basically falls in love with this girl, and his manager gets murdered by this gangster, and they basically kidnap the girl and take her away, and he has to go off and find her and bring her back. It's a very interesting film. It's noted because it sort of features stuff in Kubrick's style of things to come. His great use of lighting and being able to shoot a scene so that the emotional value is very apparent. Yeah, it's just great lighting, great cinematography. It has a very sort of urban loneliness and melancholy feel to the whole movie. The ending is fantastic. There's this big confrontation as Davy goes to the place where they're holding the girl, and he has this sort of big epic fight sequence at the end with the main gangster, and it's set in this like mannequin warehouse, and it's shot very interestingly. They're like swinging axes, and he's trying to protect himself with like arms from mannequins. It's a very cool scene. The whole film is sort of told in flashback. It starts out with Davy Gordon at the train station waiting for this girl who he may or may not ever see again, and the film goes back into telling the movie in flashback. It's also notable because of the boxing scene. Um, Up until Raging Bull came out, it's widely considered one of the most sort of vicious and most realistic boxing scenes ever filmed. Um, Again, Kubrick was noted for his realism as well, and yeah, the boxing scene is really good as well in this movie. So yeah, it's sort of a short review. It's a short movie, but I've always wanted to see it. Killer's Kiss from 1955. Stanley Kubrick's second feature film before he really went on a great run until his death, of course, in 1999. So thank you for watching. Make sure you check out everybody else's reviews this week. I'm sure there'll be some great movies talked about because Stanley Kubrick is one of my favorite directors and one of the best directors of all time, and that goes without saying. So until next time, I'll see ya.
Bond. James Bond.